been a really difficult year, but it's great to be back on the 600.
Wakefield's a track that really suits me. I quite like it. Quite hard braking, quite technical. Takes a lot of skill, takes a lot of bike setup.
This year, although it's not a full season, I've kind of more or less done all the work this year myself. The bike stays at my house. I change the oil, I do the maintenance on it. So this year to win would be a different one, of course, but I think it would be more deserving because I've sort of done it myself.
I've been in Europe all year racing the 300, so I haven't been up against these guys all year. And when coming into this round, I don't think that they kind of look at the sheets and go, yeah, Tom Edwards was one of the guys who's going to be up there this weekend, so I guess I'm a bit of an underdog.
Last year I finished second in Supersport 300 and third in R3 Cup, and I didn't like that. It wasn't a good feeling. It was a tough year, so to win the championship this year, it'd mean a lot. It'd be pretty special, especially in my debut season.
It's hard racing against your best mate. I mean, last year he pretty much dominated the series, and this year it's been us two up the front, and at Phillip Island I got the win, and at Wakefield the last two rounds we'll be going up for the championship. So I don't know, we're still talking at the moment, but we'll see what happens over the weekend, and hopefully by the end of it we are still talking.
I don't know if you've seen his haircut this weekend, but it's shocking, as usual when he does this sort of thing come race weekend, but he has a dirty mullet, and he said to me that if he wins, then on Sunday night at Herfoss's after party that he's going to be doing the same to this thing, so let's hope that doesn't have to happen.
Oli's mullet's pretty cool, not going to lie.
So when it comes down to it, there's a championship on the line. By the end of the weekend, obviously this being the last two rounds of the season, I want to finish with a win.
In the back of my mind, I believe I do have a chance of winning this championship, but I can only really go out and do what I can do, just ride hard and see what happens from there.
I would love to walk away from this weekend with back-to-back Supersport championships. That would be very good.
I've cut myself a mullet for this event, and hopefully mullet power takes over, I can have a win.
Is a mullet a way to attract the girls now, is it? Like, is that what you...
Yes and no. So they hate them or they love them.
Well, getting ready for Motorsports TV Supersport now. The championship has come down to the final two races. Steve Martin is the local hero. Tom Toparis that leads the championship coming into this round following a strong performance yesterday. 117 points to Oli Bayliss' 105. We've seen Oli Bayliss start off with a bit of difficulty this morning. He'll start a little bit further back on the grid, but I reckon he'll be all pumped up. Max Stauffer, the star of yesterday as well, on 83 points, and Tom Edwards on 81. But Brock Pearson in 5th place on 77 has brought himself well and truly back into championship contention. Time to go down to the grid with Emma.
Max Stauffer, you're certainly in the fight for that championship. I know that's probably playing on the back of your head, but two big races and a pretty good position right here.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty confident. I'm just going to go out and just ride like it's a practice day and see what I can do.
Some bad news for you. There's more wind coming because this morning I know you were really struggling on that bike in qualifying. It's certainly going to make things very different out here.
Yeah, the wind's horrible, but I suppose everyone's got to deal with it, so it is what it is.
Best of luck. Go get him.
Thank you.
There you go, Max Stauffer, really in contention for that championship. And we'll come over to a guy who did very well this morning, had a great qualifying session. Jack Hyde, well done, starting on the front row of the grid, just where you want to be for these races.
Yeah, thank you. Just hopefully I need to make a good start, just try and stay with them.
What have you been struggling with out there on this track in particular this weekend?
I've just been struggling with pace all weekend, just not having confidence, but it's starting to come back to me now.
Go get him.
Thank you.
All right, we'll keep walking down the grid. Let's catch up with Tommy Edwards. He's had a big stint overseas. He did have a bit of an off the other day, though, in one of the practice sessions. But looking A-OK now. I was just saying he had a bit of an off the other day in one of the practice sessions. Body's looking okay. Feeling good for this one?
Yeah, no, really excited for this one. It's a bit hard to keep up with these boys, but I think the win should bring everyone a bit closer together and make it a bit closer of a race, and hopefully a couple of people will make a few more small mistakes which will make it interesting.
Good luck.
Thank you.
And we'll head on over here to Jack Passfield. He's starting from the second row of the grid. Jack, not too bad a qualifying position. How are you feeling going into this one?
Yeah, a little bit better. I didn't seem to go any quicker. Everyone just seemed to slow down, so these windy conditions might be a bit better for us. But yeah, we'll just see how it goes.
Back to you, boys.
Thanks very much, Emma. And, well, that's good news for Jack Passfield because he's had a difficult weekend. If he's maintaining his pace in the windy conditions and everyone else has got a bit slower, that's a good thing for him, isn't it?
Well, absolutely. It means that he's going to be in the fray. He's only a couple of tenths off of the front row. With the way that the grid times were formed up this morning. So, you know, he's got the pace of like 95% of the field. It's perhaps only Tom Toparis, who leads the championship at the moment there on the #1 machine, that, you know, has a little bit of an edge over the rest of the field.
Not too long to go now before we get underway for Motorsports TV Supersport class. And you can see down there, it is very, very windy on the grid. And I guess Max made a very good point. It's the same for everybody, so everybody's got to deal with the same conditions. It's pretty much the same as if it's raining. And
you're right.
With so much experience, though, is it going to be a benefit for some riders as opposed to others?
Well, let's throw down to Emma, and maybe Tom Toparis can tell us.
Tom Toparis, this win's certainly going to change things up a lot, and everyone's really hoping that that can be the way that they can catch you.
Yeah, it is a bit of a wild day to, you know, if you've got to be here to sort of realise how brutal this wind is. But, yeah, it's a weird one because it's, you know, easy to make a mistake, easy to run off. So, yeah, for me, like, did the hard work yesterday. So today I really just need to finish and be smart and bring it home and hopefully win another championship.
Be safe out there.
Thanks, Emma.
All right, well, it's time to go up to our commentators, Steve Martin and Phil Harlem, for race #1 today for round 3, Motorsports TV Supersport class.
Thanks very much, Emma. Yes, Tom Toparis looking to join a very elite group of people that have won back-to-back 600 championships. It's only been done twice before, Daniel Falzon and Graeme Morris. And, yeah, Tom Toparis would be in a very elite company.
Yeah, he certainly would. Those two riders you mentioned, like legends in the sport already. Graeme Morris, of course, hasn't ridden for quite a few years now, but back in the day, he was definitely one of the top guys riding in many different classes, and we've seen his son Aaron competing in the ASBK Championship from time to time in various classes, including the 600 Supersport class.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll see Aaron back in the Superbike Championships in 2021 as well. I know he's been busily preparing a bike, so it would be great to see. But it's not very often we get to see the #1 plate back here and racing in Supersport, because a lot of the time the riders step up to Superbike.
Surely a weight advantage as well there. That #1 is obviously the smallest number, lighter than all the others, so Tom Toparis can wear it proudly.
Well, Max Stauffer's got 3 numbers, but I don't think he's going to be any heavier than anyone else out there. I'd say Max has grown in height. He just doesn't seem to have got any wider. He's still extremely lean. Max been training hard, doing a lot of kilometres on the pedal bike on Swift, and of course he would definitely be riding dirt track in the backyard on the track that they have there as well.
Well, it's certainly not hurting his chances, because he rode brilliant. If you haven't seen the races from yesterday, you should try and watch them, because there's some brilliant racing in the two Motorsports TV 600 races.
It certainly is, and Max Stauffer was the star of yesterday, along with Tom Toparis and Brock Pearson, with those podium performances that he did. But let's have a look at the grid now. It is Toparis, Stauffer and Jack Hyde that will start from that front row of the grid. Second row of the grid, Brock Pearson, Tom Edwards and Jack Passfield.
Aidan Hayes starts from 7th position on the #46 machine. Scott Nicholson just behind him, and Oli Bayliss in 9th. Boy, let's hope he can make something from there.
An important thing for Oli Bayliss is getting a good start. Noel Mann and Patrick Lee round out the depleted field here this weekend in 10th and 11th position, as we get ready to go racing for Motorsports TV Supersport.
Yeah, you can just see from that shot there the windy conditions that everybody must face. And we've heard it is the same for everyone, but the thing is that some people are mentally tougher than others. And if you're mentally tough, you can deal with these conditions. So that's what it's all about. The toughest ones will get through.
We also noticed yesterday that Max Stauffer seemed to be the most economical with his use of the track. He didn't seem to be using all of the track in any parts of that. If he's not going as close to the lines, that's got to reduce the margins for error as well.
Absolutely.
So coming back to take up the positions on the grid, we were about to go racing for Motorsports TV Supersport. Cannot wait for this one to get underway, Steve Martin. We have got 12 laps of absolute excitement to determine who will go into the final race this afternoon with what championship leads over their competitors. Tom Toparis starting from pole position. He leads the championship, and we are ready to go racing. Motorsports TV Supersport is go. Great start from Max Stauffer on the front row of the grid. He could very well lead them as they head down towards turn 1 for the first time. And it is, I think it may be Max Stauffer that leads them through Motul Corner and takes the run up the hill.
Taparis on the outside has got the inside line, and it's Tommy Edwards just in behind him. He is a fast starter, isn't he? But it is the number 127 machine of Maxi Stauffer who leads the way at the moment.
Oli Bayliss has got a pretty good start, and he's now right on the tail of the 39 machine of Scott Nicholson as they make their way down the hill. So we'll be keeping our eye on the progress of Oli Bayliss. As they get to the bottom of the hill, it is still Max Stauffer that leads from Tom Toparis. Tommy Edwards has got a great start, as you said, on board the Bike Biz machine, bike number 64, fresh from a season in the European Supersport 300, or the World Supersport 300 Championships, sitting in 3rd place. Jack Hyde on 28 has gone from 3rd on the grid to back to 4th position. So a pretty good start. Oli Bayliss has taken back 1 position on board bike number 68. So he's off to a good start, Oli, and he's done it to close in now on the back of Jack Passfield.
I think Aidan Hayes made a bit of a move there too. So good move by Aidan Hayes to move up another spot there for him. Scott Nicholson just there in the background too. But out front, boy, I'll tell you what, Maxi Stauffer has pulled a little bit of a gap already.
1:05.0 from a standing start for Max Stauffer on the first lap. That is a very impressive lap time from the young man from Mulberry up near the Hunter Valley.
Now, it was quite a heavy crash for Oli Bayliss as he's just sitting in there now behind Jack Passfield, so it'd be interesting to see how he bounces back from that. If we talked about mental toughness at the start of this race, well, he's going to have to pull on every ounce of mental toughness he's got to put that crash out of his mind and make his way towards the front, because he can see that championship slipping away now.
He was bridging the gap to the back of Jack Passfield, but Passfield's just pulled a small gap back as they got to the bottom of the fishhook. It's still Max Stauffer that leads on board bike number 127. Tom Toparis on bike number 1 right behind. Then it's Tom Edwards on board bike number 64, the gold Bike Biz machine, and he's riding like gold at the moment as well. So they come down through Motul Corner. Looked like Tom Toparis was carrying just a fraction more mid-corner speed than Max Stauffer through that area of the circuit, but Max got on the throttle extremely early, extremely hard, and pulled a bike length or two as they made their way up the AMMF hill.
Yeah, you can just see how much of the track they're using at the moment. You can still see the sticker on the front of Max Stauffer's front tyre, but you know, Max definitely takes some different lines on the way into the corners. He enters narrower, but he still manages to get that bike turned. But look at Tommy Edwards. He's on terms with the 2 guys out front.
That's it. Well, he was hoping that the wind might make other people start to make some mistakes and give him a bit of an advantage, and that's exactly what he's got at the moment. Brock Pearson has moved his way through to 4th. He's just off the back of Edwards at the moment as they come round to complete this 3rd lap of the 12-lap race.
Yeah, I don't think that Brock Pearson got that good a start, did he? He's worked his way through, but once again, he's left himself with work to do.
Well, Edwards was all out of shape coming through Motul Corner. You can see he may have been a fraction off line then. It hit a big bump on the exit of the corner, which meant that he had to probably just get out of the throttle a little bit as they come through the Dunlop corner and now up to the top of the hill at the Kawasaki Corners. Very tight and tricky corners, not much overtaking opportunity in this class at that point of the circuit. Look, does Edwards' bike look a little bit out of shape there at the top of the circuit?
I think, in all honesty, I think that Edwards, let's face it, it's an older bike, probably not as prepared as well as the other bikes. I think he's just riding the absolute wheels off of it. And to be honest, like, I think he's just riding around the problems. Obviously, probably got all the right suspension and that in it, but perhaps the setup not where it needs to be. So there's, you know, you've got to keep an eye on this kid, because the way that he's riding that bike at the moment and riding around the problems of the bike bucking and weaving, there's definitely more time to be had from him. I mean, look in here, look at it, he's sideways in there. It's always over the bumps and absorbing the bumps as well. Oh, we've got a problem from Tom Toparis. He's missed a gear and gone back a couple of spots. He can afford to do that. He can afford to do that to win the championship still, but he will not be happy right now. I think he's missed a gear there. Yeah, it looked like his progress just halted just for a fraction of a second. Let's watch it again on the GoPro replay. We can see Stauffer's leading as they come into the corner. Toparis goes through the corner. Yep, and I think he has just missed a gear. He's just clicked neutral instead of gear, and he's got back in gear. You can see the front end loft there. Brock Pearson goes around the outside.
inside, keen to take any advantage that he can from that situation. So our race, or our championship leader, Tom Toparis, is back to 4th position, but we know he's got the pace, and Tom's going to be smart this weekend. He's not going to do anything rash, as Oli Bayliss looked to try and find a way past now Aiden Hayes, as our front row starter, Jack Hyde, has just slipped back now, I think, to 7th position.
Yeah. Good for Jack Hyde, though, to be able to run with those guys up the front and learn. You know, we've still got another race later on this afternoon, and he is behind Oli Bayliss at the moment. So, you know, he can learn as best he can. Aiden Hayes at the front of that group with Tom Toparis just in front of him. Oli Bayliss looks up the inside. He can't do it right there.
Well, Aiden Hayes, once again, putting in a great ride here. He's in 5th position at the moment as Oli Bayliss tries an outrageous manoeuvre. Oh, there's no way through there, Oli. You can see how keen he is to try and get past Aiden Hayes at the top of the hill. I just said a lap ago, there's no overtaking in this class through there. Well, Oli Bayliss thought that maybe there was a chance.
Yeah, Aiden Hayes good on the brakes into the fishhook corner. Out of YMI they go. Through Pirelli. This is where Oli had that big moment in the crash in qualifying. You can see the bumps there too.
So down into the final corner. Jack Passfield has a big look up the inside of Jack Hyde as well. So it is still Max Stauffer that leads. He's currently leading by 0.424 of a second over Tom Edwards and Brock Pearson in 3rd place. But the interest at the moment is this battle here. Oli Bayliss, 2nd in the championship, coming into this round. He's got past Aiden Hayes on the run up the hill, got on the throttle extremely early there and was on a very tight line. Just drove past bike number 46, and he's now got his sights set on Tom Toparis, who is only 1 position further up the road. Unfortunately for Oli Bayliss, it is about 4 odd seconds up the road.
Yeah, I mean, Tom Toparis literally should just finish 4th now. He doesn't need to risk anything. That's still going to mean that he extends his lead in the championship over Oli Bayliss. So that's what he needs to do. Just saw Tom Toparis just nick the edge of the track there. Lucky to get away with that, but that's how it would finish. 134 to 120 points with 25 up for grabs.
Yeah, and Max Stauffer's brought, if he finishes in that position, would bring himself up into 3rd place in the championship on 108 points, and anything can and will happen in the last race as well. He could very well finish 2nd in the championship if anyone makes a small slip up.
Keep an eye on Brock Pearson though, because like he's the man with the pace at the moment, the only man in the 59s out there, and right in the back now of Tommy Edwards.
Well, as we said, half race distance. Brock Pearson was one of the fastest riders yesterday.
Yeah.
He's doing the exact same thing again today, and is now looking like he is going to go into 2nd position in this race, because he's shown he's got the pace yesterday, and it was towards the end of the race that he had even better pace than a lot of the other riders out there. So Brock Pearson on bike number 17 on a charge once again.
Well, he's got to be thinking at the moment, this is a golden opportunity to win a race, because, I mean, Tom Toparis isn't up the road. He's caught these guys up again. He's had to work hard, looking over his shoulder to see there's a fair gap back now to Tom Toparis, who looks like he's just going to settle for 4th, which is exactly what he should do.
So Max Stauffer leads. Pearson looking like he's going to try and get a good drive out of here and maybe make a run up the AMF hill on bike number 64 of Tommy Edwards. Tell you what, the old Yamaha R6 is pretty nimble on the way out of Motor Corner on the run up the AMF hill towards the Dunlop corner. The AGV corners at the top of the hill, and Kawasaki as well, as they start the run down the hill now, Steve.
Absolutely, down they go, change of direction once again. Brock Pearson looks up the inside, can't quite do it there into YMI. I think got to be careful on the edge of the tyre through here. You don't want to wick it up too early there. There's not a lot of grip to be had.
And I think Edwards was so late on the brakes at the bottom of the hill at the YMI corner that there was no way that Brock Pearson could safely make an overtaking manoeuvre. He was very good on the brakes into there in the races yesterday, so maybe he'll be looking to try and get past there as they come round to complete the next lap. Coming down to complete 9 laps now, so time is running out for Brock Pearson if he wants to get up into a 2nd position. Tom Toparis is taking your advice and playing it very smart, sitting back there in 4th position. He's got no one around him on track. Oli Bayliss is about 5 seconds or so down behind him at the moment, so I think Ollie's not going to be able to catch up 5 seconds in the last 3 laps of this race. But Max Stauffer could be on track to take his first win in the Motorsports TV Supersport class in this, only his 3rd round, or his 3rd round aboard a Supersport machine.
Well, he's not struggling too much in the wind at the moment, is he? He's having a brilliant ride out front. You've got to think that it's going to be difficult for Brock Pearson to have a go at the number 64, Tommy Edwards, though, because he definitely looks like a bit of a scrapper. Looks like he doesn't mind having a bit of a tussle and a fight. He's used to it after his year of riding overseas. And
that's what they do every single corner of every single lap in that class. As Aidan Hayes tries to have a look up the inside of Oli Bayliss, can't quite get past. So Bayliss maintains 5th position and the solid championship points that go with it to take the battle right down to the wire.
Everybody out on track about the same lap times at the moment, except for the front 3 who are like at 60 flats. So that's a pretty impressive lap time. Fastest lap of the race for Max Stauffer was his last lap.
So they're on the penultimate lap now, lap 11 of the 12-lap journey.
Whoa,
Brock Pearson looking now to be increasingly desperate to try and find his way past the late braking, hard accelerating Tom Edwards on board bike number 64. Brock Pearson! Oh, Brock Pearson was almost off the machine there. You can see how desperate he was to try and get on the gas early. And geez, that was a massive moment for Brock Pearson. I think he's going to set off the 3rd now, Steve.
I think 3rd will be happy. He'll be happy with that. Tom Toparis has had a moment. Here we go. Just watch him in the background there. Just gets out of that slippery corner. Too much throttle on the lean angle, on the dirty inside part of the track where there's even less grip, and lucky to get away with that one.
Wow, that was a massive moment for Brock Pearson, but Max Stauffer is leading on the final lap of the Motorsports TV Supersport Race 1 at round 3 of the 2020 My Bike Motorcycle Insurance Australian Superbike Championship. Is he on track now for his first win in the class? Tom Edwards says no.
Do not speak too soon, because Tommy Edwards is sitting there right now. He's closed up. He looks aggressive. Max Stauffer's going to have to work for this one. Edwards is lining him up to get a good run. See how he's gone in wide there? It means that he's been able to square that corner off a bit, and he's right there. If you can get a good run through here, it's all going to come down to this final corner. He's gone through. Tommy Edwards takes the lead, gives him a shake, but we know how good the 127 is. Has he gone up the inside? He has, side by side.
How did Max get that bike stopped and turned and maintain such a tight line? He's going to come out of the corner, the final corner, in the lead, and will take his first win. What a great last lap from Max Stauffer and Tom Edwards. Excitement aplenty as Tom Edwards made a last-ditch attempt to try and take the race win. Max Stauffer fought back. That is gold, gold, gold Supersport racing. Congratulations to Brock Pearson for taking 3rd place after that massive moment. And all Max Stauffer can say to Tom Edwards is thumbs up. He loved it.
Well, that was a good last half of a lap, wasn't it? So
we called it, Steve. We said he's not going to set off a 2nd. And how late was he on the brakes down into the fishhook? We set up that move.
He did, and that's exactly what he did. He went in there wide. He knew that he wasn't getting him into there, and he worked his way through.
Tommy Edwards set the fastest lap of the race on the last lap in that last-ditch attempt to take the win from Max Stauffer. He came up 0.233 of a second short. Brock Pearson takes 3rd place, just a fraction back, and after that massive moment, we'll be happy with that effort. Championship leader Tom Toparis finished in 4th place with solid points. Oli Bayliss fought his way back through the field to take 5th place and take the championship down to the last race. Jack Passfield in 6th, Aidan Hayes in 7th, Jack Hyde in 8th, Scott Nicholson in 9th, and Noel Marn rounds out the top 10.
Brock Pearson, well done. A great weekend so far, and one more chance to get that race win.
Yeah, that one was pretty strange. The wind conditions were really hard out there. It made it really difficult to pass. I sort of tried to hold on, and then in the last couple of laps I was going to try and make a move, but I had a close call with 2 laps to go and I lost the boys and sort of ruined it. But anyways, it is what it is. It's still nice to be up on the podium again, and yeah, hopefully I'll get a win in the next one, but we'll try.
Best of luck. Well done. And in 2nd position, Tom Edwards. Congratulations, well done right to the end. That was a sensational battle.
Yeah, no, it was great. Yeah, me and Maxie had a great battle out there, and he's one of my good mates, so it was yeah, good to battle with him. I knew he had me in the brakes, so that's why I had to try so hard into that fast corner on the last lap, and it didn't end up, well, I pulled it off, but into that last corner he did the same as what he did with Tom yesterday, but managed to pull it off, and it was a great race by him, and I'm really excited for this afternoon.
One more chance for a win. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
And your winner for this race, Max Stauffer, your very first win in this category. Congratulations, only with 3 rounds in. Well done.
Oh, that's amazing. I don't even know what to say. I'm just so happy. The conditions are so tricky out there, and I was just able to manage it the whole time. It's so hard, but I'm so happy to have it done.
Good luck for the next one.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Wakefield Park Raceway. We're just about to go racing for the Motorsports TV Supersport class, and this is it. This is the final race. Going to start with a chat with the guy sitting on pole position, because all eyes are on you, Tom Toparis, not too far away from potentially becoming back-to-back Supersport champion.
Yeah, thank you, Emma. Yeah, it's been a wild weekend so far. We've actually had a few things thrown against us, but lucky to have a great team here this weekend with some guys, and we've sort of overcome everything so far. So yeah, one to go, nothing stupid. Like at the end of the day, I just need to finish this race, and hopefully that can happen and I can win another championship.
Stay safe and get it done. Good luck.
Thanks, Emma.
And I'm just going to chat around and have a yarn to your dad, Richard. A local favourite, almost the mayor of Goulburn, we like to call him. Richard Tavares, you must be so proud.
I'm very happy that Tom's home and able to make the races this weekend. It's great that the last round of the last two rounds for the ASBK is in Goulburn, and I really wish him all the best. I hope it's a successful weekend, finish for the weekend for us, and in any case. So.
Thanks, Richard. Thanks.
Great to hear from not only Tom Toparis, but Dad Richard as well. They are a very tight-knit family team, but also great to see he's got someone like Glenn Richards in his corner this weekend as well. A very experienced man that's got Australian Championship experience, British Championship experience, World Superbike Championship experience, and he's been able to bring that here for Tom this weekend. So he's got one more race to go to be joining in a very elite group of people that have won multiple or back-to-back 600 championships. Only been done twice before. Graeme Morris, as we mentioned, 93, 94, and Daniel Falzon as well. So Tom Toparis has got a very, well, it's a better lead to have than have a deficit. He's got 134 points to Oli Bayliss' 121. Oli Bayliss has had a difficult weekend, but it's going to show the mental toughness of Oli Bayliss, and he's still out there and fighting for this championship and only 13 points in arrear. One of the stars of the weekend, though, has been Max Stauffer. He's broken through for another podium, his first race win, and some sensational action yesterday. He's put himself into third place in the championship on 108 points, 7 ahead of Tom Edwards. Brock Pearson's moved up into 5th place in the championship after a strong weekend. Jack Hyde in 6th, Hayden Hayes in 7th, Jack Passfield in 8th, Nick Leamington, who was not here this weekend, has slipped back to 9th, and Scott Nicholson on 41 rounds out the top 10.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good race, but although Tom has got a decent lead and all he has to do is really just finish, as we've seen from that Superbike race 1, you can't count your chickens before they're hatched.
Well, and also too, the first Motorsports TV Supersport race this morning, where it appeared that Tom Toparis missed a gear coming out of Motor Corner Turn 2, went from the race lead back to 4th place or 3rd place pretty quickly, and Max Stauffer and Tom Edwards duelled it out on the final lap for that race win, and it was so very close that the decision certainly wasn't decided until they got to the checkered flag. So the riders are now off on their final warm-up lap.
There's a few of the guys too that are all running a really hot pace. I mean, Tommy Edwards is definitely a fast guy. We've seen him get on the podium. And Tom Toparis, of course, starts from that pole position. Maxi Stauffer in 2nd and Jack Hyde in 3rd. Brilliant qualifying for him. Brock Pearson, watch out for him. He's also fast. Tom Edwards has had that podium. Jack Passfield, of course, starts from spot 6.
Hayden Hayes in 7th, Scott Nicholson in 8th, and Oli Bayliss having to start from 9th on the grid. He'll be hoping to get a good start and not have to battle through the field like he did in the first race. And got held up a little bit early on, and that was the end of his race. Noel Mann and Patrick Lee round out the depleted field here this weekend, but there is real quality at the front of this field. We've seen 4 or 5 guys that are all capable of getting on the podium here this weekend.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. Brock Pearson is just knocking on the door as well of, getting a win. We saw Maxi Stauffer get a win already. Tom Toparis, there haven't been many people that have been able to run with Tom Toparis for a long, long time, but things are changing.
We were just trying to think in race 1 this morning, Steve, the last time that Tom Toparis was not on the podium in an Australian Supersport race. We couldn't think of it. That's how long ago it was.
At least 3 years. He's world class.
So keep your eye on Brock Pearson. Hopefully he'll be able to get a good start and challenge for the race lead early on. He's starting from the 2nd row of the grid. But Tom Toparis, the championship is his for the taking. He starts from pole position for Motorsports TV Supersport. Supersport is go. Great start from Jack Hyde from the outside of the front row of the grid. It looked like he will be well placed as they make their way down towards turn 1 for the first time. But it is Tom Toparis that leads them through Motor Corner and up the hill for the first time. Is that Hyde in second place?
Oh, Tommy Edwards has a big moment there. And once again, he just got on the gas. Tyre not quite warmed up. He's lost quite a few spots there.
And Oli Bayliss has just managed to sneak ahead of him as well. It was important for Oli that he got forward as many places as he could off the start, and he's done a sterling job to be positioned behind Jack Passfield. He'll be looking to try and get past Passfield as they come down to the bottom of the hill now at the YMI corner. Has Oli Bayliss been able to move up one? He has. Oli Bayliss is off to a flying start in this one. He's up to 5th position.
Yeah, he has struggled this weekend, but one thing we know about Oli Bayliss is a little bit like his dad in the fact that he's a fighter. He never gives up, and he's found his mojo again. He's working his way up, and up the inside goes Brock Pearson. That's exactly what he needed to do, just passing Hyde.
Brock Pearson's best start of the weekend so far. We know his mid-race pace is sensational. We know that he is very quick at the end of the race, but what he's had to do in every race so far this weekend, Steve, is to try and battle through the pack after a bad start. He has had a great start in this final race of the weekend and could very well be the man to challenge Tom Toparis for this race win.
Yeah, absolutely. Tom Toparis with nothing to prove here. He's just got to bring it home, but he can't afford to slack off because there's a bunch of hungry 600 riders behind him.
Give you an idea of how fast Oli Bayliss has been early on. He's right now onto the back of Max Stauffer, who took the race win in the first race this morning, and he's now trying to go around the outside. So Oli Bayliss up into 5th place and looking to make that 4th very soon as they come round to the area where Oli Bayliss had that big crash this morning. It was through that corner where he ran wide out onto the gravel trap and got unceremoniously smacked into the tarmac. The team have done a miraculous job to get Oli and the bike ready to take on this final race of the weekend.
Yeah, great job, and he's riding really well at the moment, hanging on to the back of the pack. That's something that we haven't seen from him so far this weekend. So whatever the problems were, he's put them behind him, and he's in there. He just needs to get a couple of good solid laps to settle himself down and then make a break for a bit. Look at Brock Pearson now, right on the ragged edge and up behind Tom Toparis.
Well, we said he was catching up to Tom Toparis. He's now right behind him, looking to try and find a way past. Tell you who's riding very well too, Jack Hyde. By this stage in the race this morning, he had started to go backwards, and the rest of the field was making their way past him with what appeared to be ease. He's sitting in 3rd place now, and in actual fact, looking like he's trying to go with Brock Pearson as well, as Oli Bayliss has managed to get past Max Stauffer. He's moved up into 4th place. Wait till Oli Bayliss gets with this lead group. It could be on.
Absolutely. Great move there by Oli Bayliss into the YMI corner. And
I thought he was going to go past Jack Hyde there as well.
Yeah, he's right on the back of Jack Hyde now. Bit of a look behind him. Brock Pearson there just to see where everyone is. Don't need to look far because they're all there.
Across the line they come. Let's have a look at the lap times. Fastest man on track. You won't be surprised, Steve, to find out that it's Tom Edwards with a 1:290 time. The wind is certainly affecting them because they've been into the 59s consistently at the front of this field all weekend, and they're just probably about a second or so slower, but they are all tighter and closer packed than we've seen at any time this weekend.
Well, there is Tommy Edwards on the Bike Biz machine just at the back of the pack there. He's on one of the older R6s doing a stellar job, and you've got to say he's loose. We've already seen an example of that this race.
So it is Toparis, Pearson, Bayliss, Stauffer, Hyde, all in very close company now as they come out onto the back straight. Oh, they've got one down. That's Aiden Hayes. Aiden Hayes has crashed out from the back of the field at the exit of the Pirelli corner. He's run over to the bike. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get it up and get going. It looks like there's a fair bit of grass.
Yeah.
I think his handlebar may have been broken off as Brock Pearson makes a play for the lead. He comes down the inside. He got great drive. He got a slipstream on the straight, and he slips down the inside at Motul Corner. And you've seen how hard he was getting on the gas coming out of here in the early race this morning. And he's now got a couple of bike length lead over Tom Toparis as he comes through Dunlop Corner and up towards the top of the hill at Kawasaki. Brock Pearson is pumped this weekend, and he's now taken the race lead.
Yeah, what a great move by Brock Pearson. Of course, he's got nothing to lose either. He's just got to go for broke, whereas the man behind him, all the pressure on Tom Toparis' shoulders. If he stays where he is, he'll be the champion. So he probably won't play all his cards in this race. Much more important to get that championship. But nevertheless, what a brilliant ride by this guy. He's just come back from adversity. What a story Brock Pearson's story is. He's had a number of bad crashes over the last 3 or 4 years and injuries that he's come back from. The brake's done him some good, and he leads this one at the moment.
Tom Edwards up the inside of Jack Hyde to take up the running in fourth position. I think that is just behind Max Stauffer now, as you can see. Bit of dust being blown around. Tom Edwards loose again down into Motul Corner. We saw that in the race this morning too, Steve. There's a replay of Aidan Hayes just crashing out at the exit of the Pirelli corner. And there is a replay on the GoPro replay of Brock Pearson's move to take the race lead.
Yeah, nice and smooth. Just getting on the gas a little bit earlier there, hit a bump on the gas, and the rear shock didn't absorb it, but that's what happens when you're trying to get that power down nice and early.
Look at the lead that Brock Pearson has managed to make over Tom Toparis as they come down to the bottom of the hill now. He's pulled out about 1 second in the space of a couple of laps. So he took the lead. He just done the fastest lap of the race with a 1 minute .026 lap. And Oli Bayliss and Max Stauffer are now closing in on the man that currently leads the Motorsports TV Supersport Championship.
Well, you can be assured that Oli Bayliss is going to give it everything he's got to get past him. I don't think it'll be enough for the championship, that's for sure.
Oh, Max Stauffer up the inside as they come through Motul Corner. Oli Bayliss cups back to the inside.
Side by side, it looks like Stauffer's through, though. Not much room there. That would have been a difficult pass. Didn't make it stick, but Max Stauffer did.
This is awesome, watching the son of a 3-time Superbike world champion battle the son of a 4-time Australian champion in Max Stauffer and Oli Bayliss. These two are certainly stars of the future in their motorcycle racing careers. They'll be they're stars in their own right now, but that move from Max Stauffer, he just seems to be able to get that bike in there and make overtaking manoeuvres that you look at and think, no, that was just impossible.
He is the master of corner entry, I'll say that. He can just get in on any line and still turn the bike. Really, really nice setup on that bike.
The other thing to
the rider's not half bad either.
The other things to consider, Steve, is that these two, Max Stauffer and Oli Bayliss, are also trying to make sure that they can secure second and third in the Motorsports TV Supersport Championship as well. Whereas, as you mentioned before, Brock Pearson has got none of those worries. All he is worried about is taking a race victory.
Absolutely.
Max Stauffer has actually just done his fastest lap of the race with a 1 minute .117, and Oli Bayliss was just fractionally a couple of tenths slower, but not too much off his fastest lap of the race either.
Well, you can be assured that Oli Bayliss is not going to finish where he is. He's going to have a go, and there goes Max Stauffer up the inside. Another brilliant overtaking manoeuvre. Runs a bit wide. Tom Toparis goes back at him.
Oh, and here comes Oli Bayliss. He would love nothing more than to finish ahead of Tom Toparis. How did Max Stauffer get that braking manoeuvre just a little bit too deep and a little bit too late and still manage to move up a position by the time they got to the end of the straight?
Because he's the master of corner entry. He really is. He can get that bike in, turn it on a dime, get on the gas. He's light, he's young, he's got really good power to weight ratio as well, which is a big thing on these bikes. So it means the bike handles, really better because he's lighter, more speed, more everything, and he's capable with his inputs as well. So he's learning quick. He's going to be fast. He's already fast, but really fast.
I think what's clearly evident too is that his dad, Jamie Stauffer, has actually done a sensational job in setting up the K-Tech suspension on that machine with the way it can ride the bumps, the way that they can get the bike to turn. And if anyone out there watching this coverage was wondering what Jamie Stauffer looked like when he was at the heyday of his championship winning run from 2006 to 2008, just have a look at the rider on bike number 127. That's pretty much exactly what he looked like.
Tommy Edwards is coming back onto the back of that group as well.
Maxi Stauffer's just done the fastest lap of the race, Steve, with a 1 minute .006 lap time. And he started to drag Oli Bayliss away from Tom Toparis as well. Tom Toparis is about to come under attack from Tom Edwards as well on board the Bike Biz Yamaha YZF-R6, the 64 machine. The bike's gold, and he's been riding gold this weekend as well.
Yeah, all good. He can afford to let him go past. That's what he can do. I mean, Tommy Toparis just needs to finish this race. Pretty much if he finished behind number 64, Tommy Edwards, he would be okay. He would be the champion. And I'll tell you what, he's won a lot of races. He's been competitive. Better to finish 4th or 5th and win the championship
than to get into a battle that could jeopardise the championship.
Absolutely.
It's the big picture for Tom Toparis at the moment as they come down to complete 10 laps of the 14-lap journey. Race being led at the moment by 2.3 seconds by Brock Pearson. He is into the distance and well and truly up the road from the battle for second place between Max Stauffer and Oli Bayliss.
Yeah, Brock is riding really consistently too. Fastest lap for him is a 1:60.0, last time 60.3. So, you know, like a couple of tenths here or there, that's a really consistent ride. It's not so easy to do that when you're out in front. When you're judging yourself against somebody, or you're second in the pack or in a pack, probably easier. But when you're doing it yourself, different story.
Fastest man of the race so far and first man into the 59s, Oli Bayliss with a 59.934. Where was this Oli Bayliss at the beginning of the weekend? Certainly that would be his fastest lap of the weekend, I reckon, so far, Oli Bayliss, and he is on a charge in the last race of the championship year for 2020.
Yeah, well, he doesn't want to give up on Max Stauffer. Stauffer's doing everything he can to hold him at bay, but Bayliss is, whatever they've changed on that bike, has worked brilliantly. It's turning good now. And it's still sort of like holding in. Looks like it's got plenty of grip.
Well, of course, the crew chief for Oli Bayliss is Marty Dowd, that worked with Tom Toparis to take the championship last year as well. So he's got a very experienced man in his corner. And these two, there's nothing separating them on track at the moment. In fact, on the last lap, Steve, there was 0.04 of a second between them in their lap times. They're both into the 59s now. In fact, they keep this pace up with 2.5 laps to go. They may just be a chance of reeling in Brock Pearson if Brock Pearson makes one slight little mistake, but he has been very, very consistent. His lap times are changing by around about 1/10 of a second every single lap. He is very consistent and fast. And oh no, Jack Hyde has unfortunately come to a halt in the middle of the infield there, so his race is done and dusted.
Meanwhile, Stauffer again uses that beautiful style into the corner. Oli Bayliss tips in. Not much change there. In fact, it looks like Stauffer perhaps has just pulled out fractionally over Bayliss.
On the last lap, Max was in the 59s. Oli was a 1 minute 0.4 lap, so there's still nothing in them. But when they're so close, 1/100th of a second or so does make a little bit of a difference. You can see Oli was just starting to get a little bit ragged there out onto the ripple strip, where he hasn't been using a lot of that track so far in this race. Tom Toparis has dropped back now into 5th position. He's just doing the smart thing and riding around to make sure that he's crowned Motorsports TV Supersport champion for the 2nd year in a row.
Yep, that's exactly where he needs to be. Just enjoy these last laps, Tom. You've done all the hard work. You don't need to prove anything right now. He knows exactly what to do. He's a super experienced kid, is Tom. A good kid too, isn't he?
So, 2.2 kilometres to go. Brock Pearson is on track for his first race win of the year in the Motorsports TV class. Max Stauffer and Oli Bayliss will not be able to catch him if he can keep his current pace up. Max Stauffer has pulled out enough of a gap that he's got a comfortable 2nd place at the moment, and Oli Bayliss has got enough of a lead over Tom Edwards that he is in a very comfortable 3rd position as well. The corners are counting down now for Brock Pearson. He is going to be over the moon with this race win. He's been searching for it all weekend. He's been 2nd on the podium. He's been 3rd. He's been so close before, and now he's finally going to secure his first race win. He was 2nd in the championship last year, Steve. He's been fast and he's been consistent, and now he is going to be a race winner.
Absolutely. Emotional moments for this man. The number 17, Brock Pearson, comes over the line to take victory. Look at how happy he is. Welcome back to the winner's circle. Brock Pearson takes his victory, the one that he's been searching for all weekend. Max Stauffer wraps up 2nd place on the road, and Oli Bayliss will take 3rd as well, as Brock Pearson celebrates a very deserving victory. So congratulations to Brock Pearson, congratulations to Max Stauffer, congratulations to Oli Bayliss, and congratulations to Tom Toparis, the 2020 Motorsports TV Supersport champion. What a way to win, Tom Toparis. What a year you've had back-to-back. We haven't seen that for a long time. How many years has it been, Phil? You do the math. It's been a long time. But Tom Toparis, against the odds on a privateer bike, a bike that he says he changes the oil himself, managed to win the championship.
Well, Glenn Richards may doubt that that maintenance program has been all that flash after the work that he's got to do this weekend. But you asked the last time anyone won back-to-back 600 championships. It was Daniel Falzon in 2013 and 2014. Then we have to go all the way back to Graeme Morris, the original Supersport champion in 1993, the first year of the championship, and backed it up in 1994. Congratulations to Tom Toparis, Motorsports TV champion for 2020, 2 times in a row, a multiple Supersport champion.
Yeah, what a brilliant ride for him. You can see there, that would have been a hard race for him to watch. Here we go. Burn some rubber. You don't need to... Yeah, there we go. You don't need to use that tyre again.
He's also done it this weekend too, and at the first round of Phillip Island with only one bike as well. So if he made a mistake, then they didn't have the luxury of the second bike to go to as well. So it makes that performance even more impressive. What was also impressive was Brock Pearson. He took the race win by 1.377 seconds over Max Stauffer, and Oli Bayliss, welcome back to the podium. His best ride of the weekend by far. Great to see the old original Oli Bayliss that we're so used to watching back on track in this final race of the year. Tom Edwards took 4th place on board his Yamaha R6. Tom Toparis, 5th was enough to crown him champion. 6th place was Jack Passfield. 7th was Scott Nicholson. 8th was Noel Mahon. Patrick Lee finished in 9th place, and unfortunately Jack Hyde had some sort of technical problem, it would appear, and was unable to make the finish. I think you can see there how much that race win means to Brock Pearson. It's been a long road back, but it's great to see him back.
Oh, absolutely. Well deserved. I mean, he's a fighter for sure. He's, you know, to come back from the injuries he's had, the time off, obviously, between round 1 and coming here to Wakefield Park has done him some good. He's been able to ride without pain for the first time in a long time.
Championship points, Tom Toparis 150, 11 points clear of Oli Bayliss, who secures 2nd in the championship, and Max Stauffer wraps up 3rd in the championship as well in his Supersport debut. Congratulations to Tom, Oli and Max. Brock Pearson moves up to 4th place with that race win at the end. Tom Edwards in 5th, Jack Passfield in 6th, Jack Hyde in 7th, Aidan Hayes takes 8th, Scott Nicholson in 9th, and Noel Mahon rounds out the top 10. But here he is, the Motorsports TV champion for 2020. Can't wait to hear from all of the victors down there, especially Tom Toparis, but I want to see the emotion in Brock Pearson as well, if we can get a chance to see him. There's Tom getting a cuddle from his mum.
Well, you'd think that that bike would be going straight on the mantelpiece, wouldn't you?
You would think so. I think that deserves a place in the living room, that motorcycle.
I do too. I reckon it should go in there.
Good to go.
All right, let's go down to Emma. It's time to hear from our 2020 Motorsports TV Supersport champion, Tom Toparis.
Well, he's got to fix this long hair first. I don't know how he's going to fit it underneath that hat. Congratulations, Tom Toparis. You are the 2020 champion for the Motorsports TV Supersport class, back-to-back champion.
Thanks, Emma. Yeah, over the moon. Just, you know, this weekend was crazy. Didn't expect to, you know, I was in hotel quarantine when I knew this race was on, so made a few phone calls. Got Glenn Richards as my mechanic this weekend, and also Sid Rowlands, and I think that made the difference. Just, you know, so much experience in those guys, figuring out the problems with my bike from the start of the year, and yeah, it was a crazy weekend. Just so good to see the young guys as well going so good. Obviously Oli, we're such good mates, and he's such a legend. You know, we had great racing this year, the start of the year as well, and I think he's one of the brightest stars of, you know, Australian racing in the future. So great to see the young guys coming through, and for me, just then, just wanted to bring it home, get the job done. We had a bit of drama this morning in the race, so sort of just happy to limp home in the end. You know, you don't want to end the season sort of in 5th or whatever, but for me, I'm just happy to finish and go back-to-back championships. So thanks a lot to all my sponsors and everyone, my family, my mum and dad. It's been a crazy year for everyone, and this just makes it a little bit better. So thanks a lot.
Yeah, you just mentioned your year. I know you spent a lot of time in hotel quarantines, and you did a stint overseas as well. Can you tell us any of your plans for 2021 at all?
Yeah, I want to get back overseas, of course. BSB is such a great championship.
sort of a difficult one at the moment. I haven't actually secured a ride yet for next year, but I definitely want to be overseas doing something if I can. So next couple of months, or next couple of weeks to month, hopefully I can get something sorted and get back over there and try and move forward with my career.
Congratulations, Tom Toparis. Well deserved. There you go, your 2020 champion with Motorsports TV Supersport class. I'm just going to grab our race winner as well, Brock Pearson. Congratulations. You got that win that you have been chasing all weekend long.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've stood up here on the top of the podium. It's been 3 long years of injuries and a bunch of problems. But anyways, I got the job done this afternoon. I couldn't be happier. I'd like to thank Yamaha for giving me such an amazing bike, my whole team, my dad, my mum, my sister, my amazing girlfriend, everyone that just helps out, all my sponsors, Sam for coming along this weekend. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'll enjoy this today.
Let's have a look at the MA calendar of events. The Australian Senior Solo Side Speedway Solo Championship Round 1, 3rd of January at Goulburn in South Australia. The Australian Senior Speedway Solo Championship Round 2, the 5th of January at Sydney Olympic Park. Olympic Park Speedway in Mildura, and round 3 is at Diamond Park Speedway in Wodonga on the 7th of January. Round 4, the 9th of January at Kurri Kurri Speedway in New South Wales. Round 5, Mick Doohan Raceway at Northgate in Queensland. And the Under-16s 125 Individual Speedway Championship, the 14th and 15th of January at Sidewiders Speedway in Wingfield in South Australia. For more information, go to ma.org.au. Let's have a look at the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance Australian Superbike Championship 2021 calendar, the official pre-season test. Phillip Island Grand Prix Circuit, the 27th and 28th of January. Round 1 at the Australian All Wheels Race Festival at Phillip Island on the 19th and 21st of February. Round 2, Winton Motor Raceway, March 12 to 14. Round 3 at Wakefield Park Raceway. We're back here in April next year on the 16th to the 18th of April. Round 4 with the supercars at Hidden Valley Raceway in Darwin. The perfect time to go to the top end, the 18th to the 20th of June. Round 5 at Morgan Park Raceway on the 20th to the 22nd of August. The Ben Motorsport Park, the International Motorfest, the 23rd to the 26th of September. And the final round at the spiritual home of Australian motorcycling, the Phillip Island Grand Prix Circuit in November. Keep up to date with all of the action at asbk.com.au. Down to Emma now to wrap up what has been a sensational 2020 season for the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance Australian Superbike Championship.
Thank you so much, Steve. An absolute ball. Thank you to all of our team, to our crew, to you at home, our sponsors, the teams of riders, everyone up and down pit lane, everyone that makes this possible. It's been an absolute ball. Thank you very much to everyone at home for watching our coverage. For all the updates in the meantime, though, head to asbk.com.au. I'm Emma Francesco. Look forward to seeing you in 2021. Bye for now.